And 32-year-old Anthony Williams from Peterborough has been remanded in custody after being charged with Saturday's Huntingdon train stabbings, as well as a separate attack in London hours before.
Well, GBNews' national reporter Charlie Peters joins us now from outside Peterborough's Magistrates Court. Charlie, what more can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon, Tom and Nana. Yes, the 32-year-old Anthony Williams did appear at this court, in Court 1, earlier this afternoon. The public gallery packed with journalists, but he spoke very quietly to confirm his name, his date of birth, and that he was of no fixed abode. And Mr. Williams appeared in the dock wearing custody-style grey jumper and also trousers. He was also handcuffed and also cuffed to one of the 3 custody staff who appeared with him inside the dock. Now, he appeared emotionless, but his head appeared to bow slightly as the 14 charges were read out to him in the court. That includes those 11 counts of attempted murder, 10 from the incident between Peterborough and Huntingdon train station on Saturday evening, and then the other attempted murder charge, his allegation that Mr. Williams was involved in attacking someone at Pontoon Dock DLR station just before 1 a.m, also on Saturday, the 1st of November. He also was charged with 2 counts of possessing a bladed article and 1 count of actual bodily harm. After the charges were read out to him, the District Judge Ken Sheraton said that there would be no bail granted in this case. So Anthony Williams was remanded into custody. He'll next appear at Cambridge Crown Court on the 1st of December.
Thank you very much.
Well, it seems like a fairly expedited court case. Let's hope this goes quickly.
All right, well, big changes are underway at counter-terrorism policing as the Metropolitan Police are setting out their priorities as they expand the ongoing work of Protect and Prepare.
Well, from strengthening borders to tackling vehicle threats and protecting members of Parliament, the Metropolitan Police say they are continually evolving to keep the public safe amid growing global security challenges.
Your personal data could be exposed right now without you even knowing it. And if you want it removed, use incogni.com/GBnews in the description now and get 60% off an annual plan on us. Incogni reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information be deleted from their databases. And they'll keep sending removal requests to make sure your data stays gone. Sometimes your information ends up on strange, obscure websites that automated tools just can't reach. And that's why Incogni just launched their unlimited plan with a feature called Custom Removals. With this, you can submit any link where your personal information appears, literally paste in the URL, and their privacy team will investigate and work to get it removed. And getting started is super easy. Hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account, and tell them whose data you want removed. Grant them permission to work on your behalf, and then all you've got to do is sit back and relax. They'll keep you updated along the way. Incogni is totally risk-free for 30 days. If you try it, it's not for you, you'll get a full refund. So take back control of your personal data today with Incogni. Use our code GBNews at checkout via the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual plan.
But will these measures work? Well, joining us now to discuss this is our Home and Security Editor, Mark Wise. Mark.
Well, we've been hearing in a briefing to security journalists at Scotland Yard from the new head of counter-terrorism policing in the UK, Assistant Commissioner Lawrence Taylor, and also from the Senior National Coordinator for Protect and Prepare, John Saville. Now, of course, they were asked, as you would expect, about the attack on the LNER train at Huntingdon over the weekend. And quite understandably, they wouldn't be drawn on a live investigation, which, as it stands, has not been declared a terrorist incident anyway. But they were asked about the wider vulnerability of the rail network to potential attack. And they said with regard to that there should be no knee-jerk reaction to any vulnerabilities on the transportation system. And by that, they don't just mean the rail network, but also on the ferries and on the aviation sector as well, all have their potential risks. And what John Saville said in response to this question is that the incident in Huntingdon really kind of highlights the vulnerability of crowded spaces where large groups of people gather, and a rail network, any transportation, mass transportation system has those potential risks with them as well. And he said that people should be vigilant, they shouldn't be alarmed, and asked whether perhaps, which has been a hot topic of debate over the last couple of days, knife arches, these metal detectors aimed at trying to detect knives and other weapons, might be a potential solution. John Saville said it was highly unlikely that we would see knife arches at rail stations across the country because, he said, there was, it just wouldn't be practical. And the reason he's saying that it wouldn't be practical is the fact that there are 2,500 rail stations right across the country. Many of these are very rural stations, they're unmanned, and of course if you put knife arches in, you need security personnel to man these arches so that if anyone is seen to be carrying a weapon, they're confiscated and detained. So it's just not practical. I mean, it doesn't mean, of course, that we might see something like that in some of the bigger metropolitan hubs, but even that comes with its challenges around disrupting the flow of millions of passengers each day across the rail network.
It's interesting because whatever you put in place will disrupt the network.
Yes, certainly. I mean, Mark, I suppose a lot of people will be feeling like the country seems less stable than it did just some years ago. The stabbings that we see on television, the changes that we see in many communities, the sexual assault, the thievery, the shoplifting. And yet official statistics do show that the number of people being admitted to hospital with stab wounds has been declining. How do you make these two sort of issues, how do they meet? Because people are feeling like this country is much less safe than it was, and yet fewer people are going to hospital as a result of attempted murder or stabbing.
Well, listen, there's nothing the politicians like better than to point to a set of figures that over a 6-month period or a 12-month period show a slight drop in knife crime. And that is true that over the period of the last year, there has been a slight drop. But that belies actually what the fact of this is, which is that violent crime, and in particular knife crime, and again in particular involving young people, has absolutely rocketed in recent years. It's very high, remains stubbornly high, whatever the sort of slight peaks and troughs when the statistics come out. On the issue specifically of terrorism, of course, which was what this briefing was about, sadly, nothing that I'm going to impart here will fill our audience with any confidence. They are saying that they are very, very busy, and the trajectory is upwards in all of the domains, in terrorism, in state threats, in threats from no defined ideology, and the Islamist threats in particular they singled out as being of real concern, with terror groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS resurgent again, trying to influence terrorist activity here in the West. Currently, they are running 800 live investigations across the UK, a staggering figure.